If you are over 50 years old and have already heard that your blood pressure is normal, I want you to stay with me for a moment, because there is something that most people are never told, and it doesn't appear during the day. It happens silently while you sleep. Many people spend years believing that everything is fine, simply because the readings during the day seem normal. No symptoms, no warning signs, nothing that seems urgent. And do you know what's most concerning? These same people have regular checkups, they take their medications, they follow the doctor's guidance, and yet, something keeps happening. Silently, night after night, because there is a window of time that traditional medicine almost never monitors, and that window is your sleep. But your body changes after 50. Hormones change. Blood vessels lose flexibility. The nervous system responds differently to stress, and because of that, your heart starts behaving differently too. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually, silently, cumulatively. And it is precisely that silence that makes everything so dangerous. There is a natural rhythm that your body should follow. During the day, you live, you move, you react to the world around you. Your heart works harder, your blood pressure naturally rises. That is expected, that is healthy. But at night, the body was designed to do something completely different. At night, while you sleep, blood pressure should drop gently, usually between 10% and 20%. That moment is sacred for your body. It is when the body repairs itself. The heart rests, the vessels relax, the system resets. Think of it as nighttime maintenance, as if your body were a complex machine that needs to partially shut down to recover and prepare for the next day. When this maintenance happens correctly, you wake up invigorated, with energy, with mental clarity. But for many people over 50, this no longer happens. Instead of dropping, the pressure stays the same, or worse. It rises. And the most difficult part is this: you feel nothing. You wake up thinking you simply didn't sleep well. Maybe a little tired, maybe a little off, maybe with a slight headache that you attribute to the weather, to stress, to age. But inside your body, your heart may have been under stress all night, working when it should be resting, pumping hard when it should be in recovery mode, and that has real consequences. There is even a name for this pattern. It is called non-dipping. This means that blood pressure does not drop during sleep as it should, and it is more common than most people imagine, especially in people over 50 after the body's natural hormonal changes. Studies show that people with this pattern have significantly higher risk of developing cardiovascular problems over time, not because blood pressure during the day is necessarily high, but because the heart never has a real break, never has that moment of deep rest that it needs so much. And what makes this even more concerning is the following. Your doctor probably never measured your blood pressure while you sleep. Traditional medical consultation measures blood pressure at a single moment, usually during the day when you are awake, sitting, relatively calm. That number may seem completely normal, and yet, at night, while you sleep, the story may be completely different, which means that even if your doctor says everything seems fine during the day, your real risk may be hidden in the hours when no one is measuring. And here is something even more surprising. Some of the things you do at night, what you drink, what you eat, even habits you believe are healthy, may be making this worse without you realizing it. I will talk about this in detail in a moment. But first, I need you to understand something fundamental about your body. Your body was not designed to stay on all the time. During the day, blood pressure naturally rises as you move, think, work, and respond to stress. That is normal. That is expected. That is part of life. But at night, the body should enter recovery mode. Heart rate decreases, blood vessels open slightly, stress hormones decrease, and blood pressure drops. That drop is not just a small detail. It is essential. It is part of how your body protects your brain, your kidneys, and your heart over time. Think about it this way. If you worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no breaks, how long would it take before you collapsed? Your heart is no different. It needs these nighttime hours of rest to stay healthy. When this does not happen, the damage is subtle, but it accumulates. night after night, month after month, year after year. And that is why some people who feel completely fine suddenly face serious health problems later. Not because something appeared out of nowhere, but because something was building silently over time, like a small crack in a wall. You don't see it, you don't feel it, but it keeps growing until one day the problem becomes impossible to ignore. Now, you may be wondering, why does this happen more after 50? The answer is deeply connected to the body's natural hormonal changes at this stage of life. Before 50, the body has a hormonal system that functions like a protective shield for the heart and blood vessels. This system helps keep the vessels elastic and flexible. It helps the nervous system enter rest mode at night. It helps the body regulate blood pressure more efficiently. But after 50, this shield begins to weaken. Blood vessels lose part of their natural elasticity. They become stiffer, less responsive. The body also becomes more sensitive to sodium, stress, and inflammation. And the nervous system, which helps regulate blood pressure, becomes less efficient at entering that calm, nighttime mode. So, even when you are resting, even when you are lying down, eyes closed, apparently relaxed, your body may not relax completely. And your blood pressure reflects that. This is not weakness. This is not carelessness. It is biology. It is your body going through a natural transition that demands a new form of attention and care. Now, here is where it gets even more interesting. Because beyond those natural changes, your nighttime habits can support your body or work directly against it. And many people are surprised when they discover that some of their most innocent habits, things they have done for years thinking they are taking care of their health, are actually sabotaging the heart's nighttime rest. Let us talk about some of the most common ones. First, what you drink at night. Many people believe they are making healthy choices. A calming tea before bed, a glass of wine to relax, a natural juice made at home, something to end the day with tranquility. And although the intention is good, some of these can interfere directly with your blood pressure during the night. For example, certain herbal teas, especially those containing licorice, can increase blood pressure without you noticing, even in small amounts, even taken regularly for years. The problem is that licorice affects the balance of certain hormones that regulate blood pressure, and this effect can be especially pronounced in people over 50. Alcohol is another important point. Even in moderate amounts, alcohol can deeply disrupt the body's nighttime regulation. It can help you fall asleep, but that is misleading. Because while alcohol may make you fall asleep faster, it drastically reduces the quality of deep sleep. It keeps the nervous system more active than it should be, and that means that even sleeping 8 hours, your body may not be truly resting. And then there are certain fruits and juices, like grapefruit, that can interact with blood pressure medications or affect how the body metabolizes them. That is a point that very few people know, and that can make an enormous difference in blood pressure control. Second, what you eat at night. Late dinner is a very common habit, but eating late, especially foods rich in sodium, fat, or refined carbohydrates, can keep the digestive system active for hours. And when the digestive system is working actively, the cardiovascular system is too. Blood pressure does not drop as it should. The heart does not rest as it needs to. Industrialized foods, cold cuts, cured cheeses, ready-made sauces, they all have high amounts of sodium that can directly impact your nighttime blood pressure. And here is something that surprises many people. It is not just how much you eat, it is the timing. The same dish, eaten at 6 p.m. or 10 p.m., can have completely different effects on your blood pressure during sleep. Third, unresolved stress. Many people take the day's worries to bed. Work problems, family issues, financial concerns, and the brain, which does not clearly distinguish between a real threat and a mental worry, keeps the nervous system on alert. Stress hormones keep circulating, blood pressure stays elevated, and sleep, when it finally comes, is shallow and fragmented. This is not emotional weakness. It is pure physiology. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it was programmed to do. The problem is that this program was written for a world very different from the one we live in today. Now, let us talk about something very important that many people completely ignore: The timing of your medication. If you take blood pressure medication, you probably take it in the morning. That is what most people do. That is what was prescribed. That is the established habit. But recent research is beginning to question this approach. Studies suggest that, for some people, taking blood pressure medication at night instead of in the morning can significantly improve control during sleep, and in some cases, it can reduce the risk of cardiovascular events. The logic is simple. If the problem happens mainly at night, maybe the protection also needs to be more present at night. But, and this is very important, this is not something to change on your own. It is something to discuss with your doctor. Because every case is different. The type of medication matters. Your specific condition matters. Your history matters. And your body deserves a personalized approach, not a generic solution. What I want you to take from here is the following. This conversation is worth having with your doctor. Ask, question. Be an active participant in your own care. Now, let us talk about something natural that has been quite studied in recent years: hibiscus tea. When prepared correctly, hibiscus has been shown to have mild blood pressure lowering effects in clinical studies. It works similarly to a class of medications called ACE inhibitors, helping blood vessels relax and reducing resistance to blood flow. This does not mean that hibiscus replaces medications. Absolutely not. But it can be an interesting natural complement as part of a healthier nighttime routine. And how you prepare it matters a lot. The concentration of the tea, the amount of petals used, the steeping time, the consistency with which you take it, the time of day you consume it, everything has a role in the result. A weak tea, taken occasionally, will probably not make much difference, but a well-prepared tea, taken consistently at the right time, can be a valuable addition to your routine. But the most powerful step you can take is awareness. Because you cannot manage what you cannot see, and that leads us to something that most people have never done. Something that can reveal what is really happening with your heart while you sleep. The 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitoring test, also known as ABPM. This test is simple in practice. You wear a small device for 24 hours, including while you sleep. It measures your blood pressure at regular intervals throughout the day and night, and at the end, it generates a complete report showing how your blood pressure behaves at different times, not just at a single moment during a medical appointment, but over a full day of real life. It shows if your blood pressure drops adequately during sleep. It reveals if you have the non-dipping pattern I mentioned before. It identifies nighttime spikes that no other exam could capture. And for many people, that is the first time they realize what is really happening. It is like finally turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly, what was hidden becomes visible. And with that information in hand, you and your doctor can make much more precise and effective decisions about your care. If you have never had this exam, it is worth talking to your doctor about it. Especially if you are over 50. Especially if you wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. Especially if your blood pressure during the day seems normal, but you still feel that something is not completely right. Now, if you are watching this and thinking, "No one ever told me this before," you are not alone. This is not commonly discussed in quick 15-minute consultations. It does not appear in standard routine exams. It is not something that most people research because they simply do not know they need to research it. But it should be discussed much more frequently, with much more attention. Because your health is not just about how you feel during the day. It is about what is happening in the hours when no one is paying attention. It is about what your heart is experiencing while you believe you are resting. And the first step to changing anything is knowing what is happening. Let me ask you a direct question. Have you ever checked your blood pressure outside the doctor's office? Do you have a device at home? Have you ever measured your blood pressure before going to bed and right after waking up? Or has it always been that quick moment? Sitting in the doctor's chair, arm in the cuff, done in 30 seconds? And that is it? Tell me in the comments. I read them all, without exception. And I would love to know where you are watching from, what you have already experienced, and if anything I said today resonated with something you have felt but did not know how to name, because your story matters. And it can help someone else who is watching now, in silence, recognizing themselves in every word, to feel less alone. to understand that what they are feeling has a name, has an explanation, and has a path. If this video helped you see your health in a new way, share it with someone you care about, with that person who always says they are fine, but you perceive that something is not right, with that person who wakes up tired every day and thinks it is just age. Sometimes information can arrive at exactly the right time, and it can change the course of a life. And if you want more content like this, calm, clear, honest, and based on real understanding of the human body after 50, subscribe to the Body Reset After 50 channel and turn on notifications. Because every week we bring information that traditional medicine rarely discusses. Not to scare, not to complicate, but to illuminate, so you can make more conscious decisions about your body, about your health, about your life. You deserve to understand your body, not fear it. You deserve to know what is happening inside you, not just when something goes wrong, but before, while there is still time to act. And most importantly, you deserve to take care of your heart, even in moments when no one is watching, especially in those moments, because it is in those silent moments, in the dark hours of the night while the world sleeps, that your heart needs you most. Take care of yourself. Until the next video.